Recycling, we failed. Nothing's being, you know, every time you separate your recycling, only 5% of it goes to recycling. The rest is just buried in the earth or in the ocean. So we failed.
Life is definitely simple. We make it complicated. So my goal in life right now is to make sure that I share my wisdom to the next generation.
We're so happy to have my brother, my friend of the greatest movement of Earth, Better Human, Better Planet. Definitely, he is a pack leader in that area. His name is Darin Olien. He's an author, and he's also a co-star of a Netflix docu-series, Down to Earth, with Zac Efron.
Mission is very aligned to mine, which is Better Human, Better Planet.
Yeah.
Right? I think at one point we should join, we're joining forces in a different way, but I want you to know that what you're doing out there in the world, like Better Human, you know, treat the planet better, right?
Yeah.
It's practically what I'm doing. It's just making better humans. Even the show is called Better Human, Better Dog.
Yeah.
Right? Because I don't believe is you have to train the dog. I believe you have to train the human, like what you're doing. Give the human the information that is missing. Never work against Mother Nature. So when I see you, it's like, this guy is doing never work against Mother Nature. You know, Mother Nature, yes, never work against Mother Nature. And that's the message that I grew up with with my grandfather. He always said, never work against Mother Nature. Always gain their trust, always gain their respect. And they're going to give you a beautiful gift called loyalty. Yeah. So as a kid in Mexico, you know, growing in poverty, you think a gift, right? So it was exciting the way he put it together. For me, welcome you to my land. You were already here. I just wanted you to come physically because you represent the kind of people that I want the next generation humans to follow. You know, to follow people like you, people like me. We want the connection, the respect to nature. You know, to prevent unwanted problems.
Yeah.
I believe that a dog doesn't have to practice aggression or fear or ignoring you. You just have to learn how to connect, communicate, and have an amazing relationship. So that's, what do you think about the place?
Oh man, I'm not surprised just knowing who you are, but it's like coming here and kind of instantly seeing the layers of what you've put here.
Yeah. Tell me about it. So sometimes I forget, you know what I mean? Sometimes your eyes have to remind me what I did.
Yeah.
Appreciate it though.
Yeah. Well, you know, I think certainly from that place of nature, because if you go against her, you're going against yourself because there's no separation. So, and that's where I think the world has kind of taken that left turn, and there's infinite side effects to that. And we're seeing that both as an individual and also to the world. But, you know, coming here, you're integrated in a way that it's not just you as a person who's had a TV show.
Right.
You're a person that lives and breathes and teaches and infinitely teaching. Like when we first met, you instantly started sharing.
Yes.
And I instantly received and wanted to receive.
Yes.
There's no cameras going. There's no need for an audience. It's just two people sharing. And this place feels to me like a representation of continuing to share. And just like as we were walking, you're like, hey, there's my little Costa Rica, there's the migration. So every little thing here, you could look at it as like, oh, that's neat, but there's these deep meanings within it all, and all of those are teaching moments for people. And I think, listen, and again, you know, before we were recording, when I reached out to you, I go, man, because I was already realizing that my dogs were not, the script was flipped in the sense that I was giving them love and joy, but there was this respect that wasn't quite there. And so I reached out to you, said, hey, I need to dial in my dogs a little bit. And you immediately said, I don't train dogs. I train humans. And now, having talked with you, it's so clear that it's all energy. And it's all, because I believe that on my core, fueling anything I do, both having done and will do, that the core of it all is learning about yourself.
That's right.
And then from there, that truth is coming through. And so your truth is coming through as the muse of the dog.
Yes.
But it's always been about nature and the people
Always.
and being that deeper connected. Because clearly, when people are not connected and they're off here in this kind of polarity up and down world, and then distant from it and feet not on the ground, and it's chaos.
Yeah.
And we're seeing that in every direction right now.
And this is the fun part about it, right? Because we created chaos, we can also turn it off,
Yeah.
right? The first thing we have to do is take full responsibility that we created chaos. And let's begin at home, right?
Yeah.
Global warming, don't worry about outside, worry inside. Global warming's inside, begins at home. Yeah. And then people will say, well, how do you know, Cesar? But just look at your dogs. If your dogs are giving you fight, flight avoidance, that's global warming.
Right.
Right? Because you're not going to like it. You're going to be sometimes worry about your dogs. You're going to be tense about your dogs. People are not going to like the way your dogs behave. Your family is not going to visit you. You know what I mean? So you're going to create a separation instead of unification.
Yeah.
Right? So the beautiful part about it is, in my opinion, and why I focus so much on training human, is because that chaos is created because of us. Now, we're in control of the chaos. We just have to unify or become self-aware, and then let's begin with yourself. And then by using a dog, you can see your growth, right? Because the dog is going to mirror your energy, your philosophy, and your actions. So don't have children until you are really good with dogs. Not just one, few dogs. Right. And you can foster them. You don't have to adopt them all, right? So you can definitely train yourself to be good energy, good philosophy, good actions, right? And so how would you know? Look at the dogs you touch, right? Because those dogs are not going to choose fight, flight, avoidance, right? They're going to choose calm, surrender, happy-go-lucky. They're going to understand rules, bounds, limitations. Yeah. Your dog will be like, everybody will say, oh, you have this amazing dog. And all dogs are born to be amazing, in my opinion, right? They just need the human who can actually play the other 50%.
So much of the world is trying to tell us who we are, right?
Right.
It's like, be this, be that. We were talking about masculine, feminine before and everything else. And at a certain point, you have to get to a point where, like, who am I and what do I want to be in the world, right? And forcing it, like forcing a dog to try to be what you want him to be, never going to work out.
No, never.
But then acknowledging who the dog is, acknowledging who I am, and then being that.
Forcing a dog trying to do whatever you want him to do, like forcing it, is the same thing as you telling a wave to go the other way. It's impossible, right? Because the nature of the dog, if you use anything that is not to trigger calm, surrender, what you're going to have is fight, flight, avoidance, right? That's it. They don't know how to respond positive to force.
Right.
Now, when you move a dog or a horse or anything, there is a level of certainty that you have to create, just like when you move your board, surfing. It's a level of certainty that is physically involved, but it's with the idea of creating flow.
Yeah.
That's it.
So I have something that happened. I'm curious what your point of view on it is.
Ask me.
So it was just Chaga and I, and it was several years ago before the fire, and I had a lot of mountain lions, right, on the property. I could see their activity, and every so often he would all of a sudden go boom, and we knew he was around. Yeah. And so I put some motion cameras up, and I catch them all the time, right? Videos, pictures, beautiful, right? One day, a flash in front of us, a baby cub mountain lion. As soon as I'm thinking, oh, that's a baby cub, mom, right? And we're here to the tree away. And then Chaga was so I grabbed him. I had a machete. So it was me, chaga and a machete, and the mom paused, and then she actually went the other way so the trail, us, mom, the cubs now over here.
Yeah.
The mom runs the other way, like almost in the open, almost demonstrating, not trying to, like running. And it was almost what I felt is that she was trying to get us to follow her and get away from the cub. Okay. And then we just turned around, but it was a really, number one, I walked away with Chaga was ready to go, and I felt he didn't do that. He was like doing his thing, forward. Right? And then the other side was like, hey, my energy was this, we're good.
That's as far as we go.
Yeah, and I don't want to get in between any of you. You're here, we're here, let's be together. And so we turned around and went back to the house another way.
That's right.
And so I'm just curious, like, ever since then, I walked away with, I feel very, like when he chases a bobcat and he chases a coyote, I'm like, that's nothing compared to, and he just keeps them away.
What you did with that mountain lion, that was a calm, confident, loving joy moment. If you would have done like what you do with them at home, that fucking mountain lion will go after you. You know what I mean? It will be a completely different thing.
Right.
Yeah, you could have just panicked, right? Because you can turn the love into the wrong emotion. Right. You can turn the joy into screaming.
It's funny because I don't, you're right. I don't have the same energy. It's like I was in not too far away from here, I was in a plane crash just 2 months ago.
Yeah, life and death again.
And I was calm.
Yeah.
I mean, we didn't crash. Our engine went out.
Well, that's pretty bad.
And we had to find a road like in 5 seconds.
Yes.
Right? And we found it, we landed, and I was calm.
That's right.
But it's so now what this is showing,
like when nothing bad is happening, you just go into love, joy. But like it's more difficult for people to enter into a paramedic mode, right? Paramedics, they have to like like Navy SEAL, right? It's calm, confident. In the moment of life and death, you choose calm, confident,
right?
Because you know that's the only energy that you have a better chance to survive with.
Yeah.
Right? Because at the moment people panic, and then it's over because they're not going to be able to solve things.
Yeah.
Yeah. So at home, it's just calm, surrender, happy-go-lucky. We don't need the protection. We don't need that. We can do that outside. So you can have the hunting dog and you can have the domesticated dog. And they both will listen to you. It's just one is a Navy SEAL and the other one is just a little puppy.
Right. Right.
That's it. That's all you want. So you can have both. Right. But they both need the calm, confident energy. It's just this one is lower. That is higher. So when you go hunting, hey, say boom, at a distance, they have to stop. Because you can see a mountain lion, you can see a bear, you can see something that can kill them.
Right.
Right? So your certainty is higher. Yeah. Inside the house, hey, relax.
Right.
That's enough. Right. Go back to calm, surrender. And then that's it. And then you just keep them in that happy-go-lucky state. That's it. That's it. But if they go like, what's that? Then you're going to keep them excited. Then the squirrel is going to make him come confident.
Right.
You see it?
So, I mean, you've had, I'm switching the whole thing.
Don't worry.
Asking you questions, but I'm interested how, I'm now more curious about how we nurture healthy humans for sure. And I don't like to say protect the earth, but be a steward for her.
Protection direction.
Yeah, because I think we're insanely polluting so much. So what is I mean, you've had so many different levels of your own career. Where are you going now?
Me? Yeah. Better human, better planet.
Yeah.
Without a doubt. Without a doubt. Now, this next year, 24, I'm going to be on TV for 20 years. It takes around 10 to 15 years to change a habit. Right? Because every human that I knew is like, my dog, my dog, my dog, my dog. Now people come to me, I know it's me. So in order for us to do what we do, humans have to take responsibility of pollution. So I'm talking about energetic pollution at home. I'm talking about the wrong philosophy, which is also pollution. Your own actions. You know, you don't do exercise every day. That's bad for a dog, right? And so for me, now is the time. I'm 53. Now is the time that my age and my wisdom and my battles, my patience, you know, my faith, as you know, and I hear you're gonna have, unfortunately, lawsuits, and that challenge your spirit, right? They want to take your leadership away. They want to question your passion. They want to discredit your creativity, right? And so where I'm going with it is better human, better planet. But my goal is through my foundation to begin with children, right? 'Cause grown-ups, I would say that 30% of the world will change with me before I die. But then we are going to leave those kids with the other 70. And so if you kids learn, hey, take care of nature, take care of the oceans, take care of this, but don't forget a dog, because a dog lives with you. Right? And the dog will remind you if you're doing the right thing. Do you have the right energy? Do you have the right philosophy? Do you have the right actions? How? Because your dog will follow you off leash. Because your dog will trust you. Because your dog will respect you. Because your dog will love you. And there's a why. Because you trust yourself. Because you respect yourself. Like you say, it comes down to you. Self-awareness. Right? So if the human doesn't grow up how to control his own trust, his own respect, his own love, self-knowledge, self-value, self-love, and then that human will go with that energy. Do you see what I mean? So if we start with kids from like at the moment they're 3 years old to 10, we will absolutely change the world. You know, eventually the leaders will be those kids. You know, natural, simple, profound kids. Yeah. Hold your natural, simple, profound self. Hold it. You know, that's the only way you can be nice to nature. When you hold your natural, simple, profound. When you focus on money, fame, and power, you're going to hurt nature. Right? Because all these people are people, they have the ability to not pollute as much, come out with different ways. Solar, you know more than me about that. But they have chose power and money. They don't want to be famous because they don't want people to know, but they, right? But they do chose money and power, right? But so it's a choice. So next generation human need to choose natural, simple, profound. No, yes.
Yeah, it's crazy because I wasn't expecting so much of it, but I just finished a book, and it was my father passed away 20-some years ago. And he had a chemical sensitivity. So anything unnatural, chemicals, perfumes, deodorant, shampoos, carpets, would...
Wow. So that's why you talk about Windex and all. Well, a different product. We'll take that.
So yeah. All of that, I then spent a year and a half writing a book called Fatal Conveniences. All of this stuff. From plastics to cell phones to EMFs to clothing to perfume to beauty product, all this stuff. It's all leading to similar things. Neutering us, affecting our endocrine system, estrogen, testosterone plummeting, hurting our immune system, so damaging our ability to defend ourselves naturally. And turning on unregulated and constant stress in the body, virtually across every board, hundreds of products, thousands of products. And it's screaming, it's so disconnected at all I can possibly conclude, because all the agencies, FCC, communication, FDA, USDA, EPA, just keep going down the list.
Yeah. People in power.
Yeah, they're all supposed to be regulating this. They're the regulators. And yet, these things that are harming you, your children, the air, water,
Earth,
the earth, knowingly, it's polluting.
Yeah.
Knowing polluting, hurting you, and then hurts the downstream effect. They know this, and it's in the literature. And so it's not even like me making this up that I'm writing.
That's
I'm
right.
like looking at all the research. I had 20 people researching for me. All I can possibly conclude is it's power and money.
That's right.
Because it is at the detriment of nature.
Yeah.
It's at the detriment of the
Humans.
And that is the thing that is blaringly obvious from the small to the large.
That's right.
And so the only remedy is that we divorce ourselves from as many of those things as possible so that we, get back and feel power again, because it's literally taking away our power, right? Our endocrine system, which is literally our controlling of every metabolic thing in the world, is being completely invaded.
That's right.
Right? And we keep creating, I think it's around 80,000 toxins, most of which, over 90% of them aren't even tested. So wait a minute. The regulatory bodies aren't even testing. And then we're just blasting ourselves with all this stuff. So yeah, we have a big problem. And so the only way, because they're not doing it, the only way is to wake up the human.
That's right.
The only way is to wake up the awareness that this is going on. And then, oh, by the way, it's not so doom and gloom. Just do this instead.
Yeah.
Buy this product, stay away from this. And then it's just another way of getting to your point. That this, for whatever reason, this incredible country that we live in, this incredible world we have, incredible human, what I want to do, and it kind of goes to what you're saying, or it does go to what you're saying, is I use the term common sense all the time, and you would use the term instinct.
Yeah.
It is our instinct not to kill ourselves.
Yeah.
It's our instinct not to pollute ourselves.
Right.
It's our instinct not to pollute.
Right.
Chaga. Hey. He's like, what? What are those?
What are those?
What is that? So so I say common sense. I want to flip the switch of common sense of people again. I want to flip the switch of instinct.
Yeah.
And don't just take all of this stuff as, it's like you can go to the grocery store, buy products that are harming you. Why are you not doing your job? As someone who's creating a company and selling it, isn't that your number one thing, not to hurt somebody?
Now, in the pack, what position is doing that? The back of the pack guys, the middle of the pack guys, the front of the pack guys? You see, it's a very powerful position.
Right.
Your responsibility being in the front is direction, protection, love.
Right.
So
it can't be the front.
It is the front. But there's the people in power, the people with money,
right.
And the human world, money, fame, and power control. It's not the confident people necessarily, or the healthy people, or the loving people. That's not what is in control, because a loving person would never do that.
Right.
A healthy person would never give you that.
Of course.
A human that values life would never intend to kill you with whatever he's giving you or asking you to buy from him. Right? But the people in the front of the pack, the CEOs of whatever company, right? Money talks. Those are the people that are not protecting you, right? So it's going to not only hurt your body, but your spirit, right? Your heart, like your own species, who's in front of the pack, is giving you poison.
Right.
That's what you're saying. Right.
Yeah.
Here's the food, which I needed. Here is the water, which I needed. Right. So it's food, water, shelter, family, reproduction. Those are your instinctual things. So whoever controls the water and the food controls life.
You come from Minnesota.
Yeah.
How old were you?
The day after I graduated from college, I jumped on a motorcycle with my dad. We both had bikes. And I said, I got to get out of Minnesota.
It's too cold.
Too cold. And I then ended up in Boulder, Colorado for 7 years, where I did a lot of physiology. I actually worked with a vet. I used to watch, because I watch people, see how they move, and then say, oh, your shoulder, or you're this, or that. And so a vet said, could you come over and watch dogs to help me diagnose how they're moving? And so I'd start seeing like, oh, his hip, his gait, or so yeah. So then there, and then I started studying psychology, and I started flying from Boulder, Colorado, to California, and then as soon as I got a taste of California, I was like, I'm moving here.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that was in 2001.
I honestly thought you were like California guy all the way.
People always think that, yeah.
Right?
I
Like
know.
you totally embrace the California thing.
Yeah.
Surfing.
Yeah. Yeah. It was just, yeah, I'm a landlocked Minnesota kid at just small town, you know? Yeah.
And so how did you get into the documentary part, like the teaching of the world?
Yeah.
What made you say the
Well,
world needs education?
So I started seeing how food and supplements weren't so great. And then finally it clicked after my father passed away. And I started playing with really high quality foods and supplements, and I started learning. And then I was like, well, if I'm really going to learn about these incredible medicinal plants,
Yeah.
then I need to actually show up.
Right.
And so that's where I jumped on a plane and ended up in Peru for the first time. And so I then was,
Peru?
just because we had, there's a lot of, obviously, the incubator of so many medicinal plants, and I started really researching this thing called Sacha Enchi and Maca and Yacon and hey.
Is maca really like energy? Oh yeah?
Yeah. It's not a stimulant. It's for hey. Yeah, he's pulling like.
Here,
come on.
use her. I'll take her. I take him.
Come on, Ella. Good girl. Got him. So then I said to myself, if I really want to know, I got to know the people. I got to know the land. How are they growing it? How do we preserve? How do we preserve the plant in the best way possible? And it quickly became everything about this plant is equally about the people that are growing it and the land it's coming from. So I developed relationships in the middle of nowhere directly with farmers, and learning, like, it's one farmer in Peru, 14,000 feet where maca grows, right? So it's like stressed. And so then that stress becomes an adaptogenic response in the body. So it's an adaptogenic herb. So because the stress that it's under, it's an alchemy with your body. It helps you deal with stress.
No way.
Yeah.
The plant got stressed.
Yeah.
Then she helps me with my stress.
Yeah.
Wow. That's information.
Yeah. Absolutely. And so that maca became such a powerful symbol. I said, I got to show up there. And it's not easy to get to.
No?
No, because you're like planes and trains and 14,000 feet. And
What about the food there? What did you eat when you go there?
rice and beans, baby.
Is it beans?
Yeah. I mean, I'm plant-based too. So I didn't eat, rice, beans, and some veggies, and tubers. So potatoes. Potato capital of the world. Yeah, plenty. So, there we go.
You don't eat any fish?
No fish, no dairy, no.
When?
15 years ago. Yeah.
Oh, so you already mastered it.
Yeah.
So
For me, I was like, oh, let's eliminate the middleman, because I can find flesh and animals are just a bioaccumulator of nutrients that once came from the ground, transmuted from the sun and the soil and those nutrients. The animals then are either they're eating something that was eating that. So I was like, well, let's eliminate the death part of it, find the food, and let me do that.
Oh, wow.
So then
I never saw it that way. So that's very interesting. Because, you know, one of the things, especially me as a Latino, right? Like, we've been told that you have to eat meat
yeah,
to live.
yeah, it's not true.
But once you understand it, like, wait a minute, what do you think the animal is going to eat? And
Yeah.
so get it before the animal gets it,
Yes.
which is the plan.
Yes.
Plan before animal.
So I spent 20 years running around the world finding the most nutrient-dense foods in the world.
Huh.
And said, well, I'm going to eliminate needing to kill anything.
So what is we all men have to eat, like what plan or in a TV or right?
Maca.
Really?
Sure. I mean, I always go back to the basics. Eat a wide variety of food. And you can grow one of the greatest superfoods in the world in a mason jar and grow sprouts.
Oh, wow.
You can fill up with seeds.
Sprouts?
Yeah, so you can sprout broccoli seeds and make some of the most anti-cancer, nutrient-dense foods in the world for 25 cents. You have a whole salad in 5 days.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so it's like...
There's no need to go.
Listen, there's a lot of studies that show men eliminating meat and dairy, within 3 weeks, your testosterone can go up by 30% without meat and dairy.
So what is your goal in life? What would you, if you could change the world in 10 years, what would... This takes a long time, right? But because the world has so many bad habits.
Oh my God. It's a system failure. So we have all the food we need to get to 10 billion people we could feed today.
10 billion.
We could feed 10 billion people today with the food that we have. The failed systems are that those foods are not getting to the people that need them. Recycling, we failed. Nothing's being, every time you separate your recycling, only 5% of it goes to recycling. The rest is just buried in the earth or in the ocean. So we failed. Doesn't exist. Recycling virtually does not exist. Right. So we failed at it. We need to stop. I don't know. I mean, I don't know how to begin that, but we need to recreate the systems.
What about the ticos, the Costa Rican people? Do they have the recycling better than the rest of the world?
No.
No?
Oh. No. So what you want to do is stop using, you want to start using renewable, reusable things that are not damaging to you, because like water bottle, insanely stupid to use.
Wow.
It's good at its job. It's cheap to make, easy to put water in, keeps its form. Great. Well, it's got phthalates in it. It's got chemicals in it.
The plastic thing that was...
Yeah. So those phthalates they mimic estrogen in the body. So now that goes and binds to estrogen receptors that also fight for testosterone receptors. So that's neutering you. So drinking out of plastic...
Not that.
And then heat, the more heat, the more it chelates into the water. So the fact that we're wrapping our food in plastic, putting water and beverages in plastic is undermining our health and is completely against nature. On top of it,
So what's the solution?
That wasted Well, we need to go back to glass. We need to start filtering our own water. We use renewable, reusable containers, and just to start eliminating that whole idea. And of course, aluminum is okay because you can keep recycling that, but it's still not the greatest because you don't know what chemicals they use to treat it, etc. There are so many solutions that we have failing these systems. I'm spending the rest of my life creating sovereignty again. Water, power, food, shelter, and eliminating waste. That all of what I'm...
Awesome.
It's all what I'm doing.
That's a superhero job.
Yeah. So, and then getting better at, you know, my dog.
You have me as a neighbor, so like I could take care of that.
Yeah.
Right? Because what you were saying, we just have to change the way people think about things, the way people act about things, and that would change their energy.
Totally.
Right?
Well, so like, look at, so this is power. These are lines.
Yeah.
And you have an infinite amount of underutilized and not utilized power systems that you don't know.
Which is wind?
You have wind, you have solar, you have gravity. Gravity you can use because it's hydraulics. If you have something heavy and it goes down, it can move all kinds, and then very little energy it could take to bring that back up. You have infinite sources. We realize now through some friends of mine, there's hydrogen in the form of water vapor in the air already, it's humidity. We now can turn that into a usable fuel source on land. So we're turning the air into fuel that we're actually moving to create as one of the most abundant free energy sources ever.
We're not using that.
I'm not, you
heard that one.
No one has. This is probably the first publicly I've ever said anything about it. And these are the things that I'm working underneath it. And so I'm working on another TV show that's about problem solution. Here's the problem, here's how we solve it. It's not rocket science. But we have to, and that's why I wrote the book, we have to look at the problem. We have to recognize the problem so that we can go, just like you. I told you, hey, that plastic bottle. Now you're going to go like, I don't want to neuter my endocrine system. I don't want more estrogen in my body. Now that little awareness, turn back on your common sense, your instincts to go, that's not good for me. Let's do something else. So it's disrupting the apathy that we have as humans, that we just keep doing the same things over, expecting that it's good for us. So that's why I called things fatal conveniences. So my goal is to wake up the apathy that we are kind of just living in. Like, oh, I'm just going to put this paint on my house, and like, I'm going to put this stain on my thing when it's got formaldehydes and everything else. They're like, no. There's always clean ways to do things. There's better ways to do things. And so we eliminate some of that exposure that's undermining our nature. Then we wake up and we have the sovereignty of strength and unity to ourselves. And then I start to work on, okay, how do we maximize water? How do we maximize food? How do we create power that is just infinite? We're literally getting hit with power right now. It's just not being used. So it's infinite around us. But what we do is we go, hey, I just bought this house, and I flip on the switch. So you have a monopoly of what you perceive as the way you're going to get power. And so it's just the only choice I have. And it's just coming by this. And if the lines get cut, or they decide to turn off your power, or there's a fire danger, okay, well, you have animals, you need water, you have pumps, you have nothing. But if you become sovereign, and your neighbor becomes sovereign,
it's scary for them.
And so now all of a sudden you have water, you're growing your own food, you have power systems, so go down, you're fine. And so now that's the freedom, that's the unfortunately, it's not the first thing that people are recognizing in the undermining of what's going on in our world or in the country, is our undermining of our own sovereignty. but it's at the core of all of us, as you say, the pack. We all know that instinct of, isn't it a great feeling to go outside your door and pick a grapefruit? Isn't it an amazing feeling to go outside and have fresh water from your well, right? Or from rainwater that you captured? Isn't it incredible to know that this wild power, or this solar, or this wind, or this hydrogen thing is creating power, just free power that's not polluting anything? Isn't that feeling amazing? So that's the kind of thing that I want this world to go back to, you know, because that's how we started.
You know, bro, and you're mentioning it, it's like, wow, so that's what it's called, sovereignty? Because I grew up in a place where only the cantina, where you buy the beer in the town, they were the only one with light. Everything else, they had no electricity. So we had to go to the river, dig a hole, and wait until the water settles, you know, the dirt, and then we collect the water. So we didn't depend on anybody, we depended on ourselves. So nobody did, I don't remember we paid for water. We just collected the water, right? And we didn't have electricity, so we had petroleum lights at that time, just for nighttime. Otherwise, we grow our own thing, we have our own thing, but we used to call that poverty. You know what I mean? We were in a farm, but that's sober time. Like we never was stressed out for food. We ate beans and rice, that's for sure, right? Meat, very little, because poor people don't need meat. And so we, by design, vegetarians. We eat a lot of vegetables, a lot of them, right?
Yeah, because they're easy to grow and they're easy to forage, and there's
a lot of beans. But they don't call you vegetarian, they call you poor. And so that's the label part. It's like, shit, I don't want to be poor, right? So if I eat meat, then I'm rich.
That's the lie.
But then, that's right. If they would have said that's the lie, I would eat healthier, right? If somebody would come with this knowledge as, no, this is health, right? This is good, this is this. It's like, oh, I hold this knowledge because it's healthy for me, right? And it's healthy. We don't know it's healthy. They just tell us this is healthy, right? The pyramid. This is healthy. And then you end up eating bimbo bread.
Yeah, so we have to question who's saying what and why, right? And what are these things that I'm buying because I no longer trust? So I've spent so much time in other countries, going back to the full circle, how is this grown? How is it processed? Where is it from? Who's growing it? And then going to the facility that does all that to make sure, and then I've been horrified that, like, oh my God, everyone's green powder or whatever is coming from this place. Like, this is gonna hurt people, or this is gonna cause, or this organic field is sprayed with carcasses of chewed up chickens as a fertilizer. Like, I don't think most of the organic people know that, right? You know, like, these things are happening in Central California. Like, why do you think E. coli pops up in spinach? There's no reason that should happen. Well, they're spraying feces and ground up animal as a fertilizer all over these spinach. And then it's not washed properly. And, like, how do you think this crap happens? Literally crap, right? So it's like these systems, we want to live, I want to believe that people have my best interest, your best. I want to believe that. But I know now, having been in a career in this stuff, that it doesn't exist. But it does exist. We just have to stop doing what we're doing and find our tribe again. Find our real pack. And I'm finding that the crazier the world gets, the more I find my pack.
Oh, nice.
Like, I just found you today, right? And that's where we just keep building that force, because life is interesting. It's got this pull and push and this darkness for sure. And that darkness has to have an equal and opposite reaction. And so I'm seeing a lot of that stuff. I'm more excited than ever.
It's funny that you're saying, like, I'm calling, now that because now that I became, 50 plus, I feel that my wisdom has grown so much that all these people that I always wanted when I was young are coming, right? This I call it the superheroes, right? Like, it's all these people are coming in and joining with their knowledge to educate the world, because it's going to be a challenge because they're so used to the wrong energy, the wrong philosophy, and the wrong actions, But at the end of the day, is better human, better planet, And there's a challenge, so I have a challenge for you.
Yeah.
Come on, follow me, follow me, follow me. Because I want people to be part of my vision, right? To be part of my dreams. And he said, yeah, absolutely, I built the temple. And so a king of Malaysia, as a king, built this temple. And we all want to be kings, we all want to be queens,
Yeah,
So that's the purpose of the dream. Just once you go up there, you declare what dream do you have, right? And so in your case, you can use your dogs to take you up to the temple. The second thing is we're just going to time the time that it takes over there. So we're going to keep track of all the people that come and visit, who is at the top, and physically speaking and all of that.
Okay.
Stuff. Good?
Great.
That's it. The rest of the dogs are just going to be our cheerleaders.
Beautiful.
All right. I'll wait for you upstairs.
Beautiful.
Right? Come on, Chuck. Come on, Lila. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Come on. Chuck, come on. Come on. Oh yeah, some elevation. Come on, Chuck. Come on. Look, you're in front of your dogs. Like, wow. You're falling there. I told you, once you go into the soldier energy, the warrior energy, dude, you're in shape. More than your dogs. All the way, all the way. There you go. Good move. That's beautiful. That was perfect. Just move out the way. Come and meet the temple, baby. Woo-hoo! You can drop the leash. What do you think about this place? Look at this.
Wow.
See, I made it for that reason. I want people to challenge their heart, their breath, their legs, their body, right? It's like, I just got to go up there, right?
Got to do it.
Instinctual part, the belief part. Then, look at how you're just breathing. It's like, I love it. Every time I come here, it's like, so I envisioned a temple here for that reason. It was just a little tiny piece of dirt when I saw it. Then I came, no, we need a little bit bigger. So obviously we came with the bulldozer, open it up, right? And then I saw myself standing here and looking at the world, looking at the planet. That's my vision to the world, right? Endless possibilities, endless. And this beautiful land, this beautiful planet, full of hills and green and volcanoes. You've seen volcanoes, the ocean. And that's my version, of always being grateful of Mother Nature. The birds, sometimes you get the hawks passing by here.
Yeah. Well, it's always about the vantage point, how you're seeing something, how you're looking at it. And oftentimes in life, right, we get in fear and we collapse. Yeah. And then that's all we see, right? So then to open up again, get to a different place, it's a new world.
Change the vision.
Yeah.
And often, sometimes it's just go up the hill and change your breath.
Right.
right? And then see your dogs. Why? I thought, honestly, that your dogs were going to take you because
Right.
you're in the flat, they take you.
Right.
But up the hill, your energy changed.
Yeah.
Right? You had a challenge.
Yeah.
Right? And you went into what I tell you. You come across always confident.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like the love joy thing, I've never seen it on Instagram.
Right.
But then when I see you with the dog, it's like, oh, okay, here's love joy to the dogs.
Right.
What has been your biggest challenge in life? That you say, wow, that's my biggest challenge, but it made me so powerful, strong, you know,
Well,
sensitive, empathy, all that stuff.
I think acutely, the two that are probably the biggest is losing my father. Right? He was his spirit was very, very similar to mine.
Wow.
But he didn't allow himself. He'd try, and then he'd get crushed, and then eventually, and then he started drinking to deal with it, and then that was it. So losing him, but he's still with me, you know, very strong.
Yeah, yeah.
And probably the second one is just losing, you know, buying that piece of property was very symbolic and very powerful. I always wanted my own land, and then it burned in 2018, everything to the ground.
Oh, wow.
And so I lost everything.
That's the Malibu fire.
Yeah, so
Wow.
that was probably the second strongest, gnarliest thing. Because then, you know, dad's stuff, mom's stuff, like ancestral stuff, pictures that before our time, they were pictures, they weren't digital.
Yeah.
All that was gone, and so those two things were probably the most acutely painful. But they also, my father, when he passed away, the transmutation of that grief was me starting my path of health and superfoods, really. And when
Wow, what an honor.
yeah, and I continue to do that. And he always wanted to travel, but never really let himself.
Wow.
And so then that led me to all the places
wow.
around the world. Yeah,
You broke the cycle.
yeah. And then with my house, it really solidified water, power, food, shelter, because I literally
The land.
lost it all. But now, what do I get to do? And I get to practice what I know on the land and do whatever it takes to do that. So I'm still in the middle in the process of that. So it created this passion and this resolve to, yes, get mine up, but it's always for the demonstration of that we all can do this if we create a different way of looking at things and create a different system to support the new vision.
So, for the next generation, you having the wisdom and everything, you have gone through your ups and downs. What would you share for the next generation? And when I say next generation, I'm not talking just kids. There's this generation, the 13s, the 16, the 14, that they're getting information about money, fame, and power, but what you're saying is natural, simple, profound to me.
Yeah.
Like, what will make them better humans for a better planet? What would it be your wisdom to them?
Well,
Focus on what?
certainly staying curious,
Curious.
certainly staying connected, because curiosity, I think, is very tightly woven to pure consciousness.
Okay.
So when you're curious, you're open.
Okay.
And question what people are saying to you in a healthy way.
Right.
Because I see now the systems that we were born into and the systems that are here now, many of them fail.
Yeah.
And there's billions, 2 to 3 billion of people on this planet that still don't have clean water, and they don't have food, and they don't have shelter. So we failed as a human family.
Right.
So I say let's rewrite the systems
Yes.
so that it includes everything and everyone.
That's right.
And we absolutely can do that.
Rewrite the system.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's it. That's it.
That's it!
Rewrite the system.
Woo!